Hello, welcome to Living Well today. I'm Angela, your guide and host of this next 30 minutes or so. And today it's raining again today, again in North Florida. Lots of rain to wash away the old story, I guess, the old energy. So today's topic is unity. And when we are feeling disconnected or we're feeling alone or lonely, alone and lonely are different, right? When we're never alone. We'll talk a little bit about that. And unity, connectedness, coming together, working together for a common purpose, a common outcome, a vision, realizing something that we couldn't necessarily do on our own, or if we did it on our own, it would take exponentially longer and be more difficult, more challenging than if we leverage the strengths of others. That's what we're talking about today. And I think with the backdrop of the world as it is, we hear so many of the stories of disconnect and divide, and that's a real thing. It's not made up. It's a real thing. In our perception, the bigger picture, the 300,000 feet picture, is there is no division. And so imagine, I'm going to ask you this one particular metaphor. I'm going to ask you to imagine that life. Remember the game Life? You maybe played it as a kid. Monopoly, operation, right? When you would go in and, and operate and try to do it cleanly without, any peripheral collateral damage. And you'd get buzzed if you did create collateral damage. Those games, they're fun. And we love board games in our family. It is also life. And I'm not saying taking life lightly, but through a lightheartedness and through a stepping back and a 300,000, not 30,000, 300,000 square foot view, a 300,000 mile high view. Sorry. You get a different kind of perspective. And I can guarantee you this, that on the day you decide to exit this planet, you're not going to be laying there saying, I wish I had created more division in my life. I wish I had distanced myself further from people. I wish I had worked more alone. Does that even feel, as you hear me say those things, does that even remotely feel right? I imagine that most people would say, I wish I had spent more time with people. I wish I had shared more. I wish that I gave more and was more involved, more engaged, more connected. And if you don't get the work done in this life, you're just going to have to come back and do it again. So at least we'll do it while you're here, right? And guess what? Everyone benefits from your willingness to step forward and unite. There's a quote from J.K. Rowling. We also love the Harry Potter movies in our family. There's a quote from J.K. Rowling that says, I wrote it down here to make sure, we are only as strong as we are united, and as weak as we are divided. And when you say that out loud, you feel it in your essence. You can absolutely feel that that's a truth. It's a sacred truth. And the United States was built on that truth, that it's in our very name, that together we can accomplish anything. And a house divided amongst itself will fall, will fall. So we're going to talk about, what does unity look like, feel like, and then also some practical thoughts, potential actions that you could take right now, today, with your family, within your work, with clients or colleagues, customers, patients, and in your community. You can pick one thing. So I'm going to give you some of those examples just to get the mind going as possibilities, okay? We're all about possibility thinking here on Living Well today. The essence of why I do this every week is because of the nature of possibility and the nature of curiosity and the nature of connection. These universal truths that stretch beyond us and stretch beyond time. We're merely conduits for those to be realized. So unity isn't just for couples. That's kind of a given, right? It's not just for couples. Unity can happen, certainly must happen, within teams. Unity happens in churches, in communities, in volunteer groups. Unity happens, can happen with countries and governments. But unity is a force. It's a force. And it transcends all kinds of connections and can be a theme. So what does it feel like to experience it? So whether you're married, certainly that's a unity. Whether you're single, whether you're somewhere in between, we're talking about fostering and cultivating, nurturing unity for a better experience of life for yourself and for all. Alone we can do some. Together we can do so much. When we talk about coming together for a common purpose, for a common goal, now I do this has been the nature of my work for the last, I'm 56. So since I was 20, like early 20s, so more than 30 years. Wow. Ugh, say that out loud. More than 30 years. Yeah. It has been my ambition to connect people, to network in a way that brings people together, that fosters and forwards their story. The story they tell themselves, the story they tell others. And so it's important to realize that when I talk about unity, it's the same essence of what I've talked about before, surrender and yielding. It doesn't mean losing something. It doesn't mean losing your individuality. Just the contrary. It means bringing your individuality forward for the benefit of the collective, of the group. And it's recognizing that shared humanity, the things that we share, that we all desire: comfort, ease, joy, love, satisfaction, contentment, happiness, well-being. All of the things, we all desire those things. Now, they show up in different ways in our lives, but that is unity. And the essence of unity has to start with the individual. You can't bring your whole full self to bear, your potential, your strengths and talents to leverage on behalf of the group, fragmented. If you are fragmented, the group is fragmented. Yes? Does that make sense? Now, it doesn't mean that there's not enough other unity going on in that group that maybe will power them through. But work with a small group. And when you have, or a family, and you have someone who is responsible and accountable for leveraging and showing up to do the work, and that person bows out or falls dramatically short, or everyone else is left to pick up those pieces, that's not equitable. So I'm not saying sacrifice yourself for the group. I'm saying help yourself and the group, because you don't want to live a life fragmented either, right? Feeling like you're half yourself here, and when I show up to work, I'm miserable because it's not me. It doesn't feel like me. This house doesn't feel like me. This relationship I'm in doesn't feel like me. Doesn't feel unified. Doesn't feel strong. You know, it's not good feeling. It's not good feeling. So strengthening unity starts, it's always an inside job. Everything we talk about every week is first an inside job. And not that you can change others. You can't. That's not your responsibility. That's theirs. Your responsibility is you. And to show up and work day by day by day with joy and intention, understanding there will be challenges, to integrate and unify and unite your whole self, your heart, your brain, your mind, your soul, spirit, unify your emotional body, your energetic body, getting that unified. You know, and we talk about the unified field, that my voice, the sound and frequency and vibration of my voice is traveling on right now to you. You know, that which is powering this whole thing in technology. What is the root of all that? Unity. It is ultimately all sourced from one place, of which we are all a part of. So, what does unity feel like? Well, in a world that's often divided, unity feels like when someone says, here's the solution, here's the antidote. Unity heals, it connects, it strengthens. You know, think of the tree, the one tree that stands tall, right, and strong, the oak tree. Came from one acorn, planted many roots, but all of those roots and all of the leaves on that oak are one. They all feed into the same presence, the same structure. That's us. We are the leaves. We are the roots. And the deeper we go with those roots, the stronger the tree, you see. So what does it feel like? A hot cup of cocoa on a cold morning, a warm fire, a warm blanket, warm, cozy socks on your feet. It feels like warmth. And the warmth that just says, it's so yummy, it's so right, it's so perfect. Yes, perfect. So imagine that perfect night where there's maybe light snow falling outside, the warm fire crackling, everyone is healthy, everyone is laughing. Maybe you just finished a board game. You put on a soft favorite song, maybe something from the Eagles or Chicago or America, Fleetwood Mac, that's playing in the background. You light a candle and it smells like vanilla pumpkin. That's unity. That's telling you when you feel that feeling of I am safe and I am warm and I am comfortable and I feel whole. That is you being in alignment. That is you being you, unified. Yeah. Now imagine if every family could sit around that fire tonight, their own respective fire, with the people they care about most, in a community that feels safe because everyone's rowing in the boat in the same direction. Everyone knows the vision, believes in the vision, and is showing up to do their part. Unity feels like something bigger than yourself. It's like if you've ever been out west, or if you stood at the edge of the ocean, watched the horizon, or sat out on a dock with a fishing pole, and looked at the hills or mountains around you. This time of year in the Adirondack Mountains, one of our favorite places, is a wonder to behold coming into it over the next several weeks. I think peak is the first weekend in October for up there. Yeah. And it's knowing that as you look at that vastness, you are so tiny. You're the one leaf or the one root. You know that. You feel it when you look out at the mountains out west. You're standing in a valley. Wow, the immensity of that. You feel so tiny. And at the very same time, this is paradox. At the very same time, you feel connected and so expanded and so much a part of that fabric, part of that natural tapestry. That is you, in essence, unified. So if we can work to cultivate that deeper and deeper in ourselves, how do you think a community, how do you think a household, how do you think a team at work, an office, a culture, how do you think a community, how do you think a country, how do you think the world gets there to unity? Respecting our differences doesn't mean duplicating. It's not. And if you're hearing that, then you've got your own story running underneath, because it's not at all it. It is saying, you do you and be you just the way you are. And I'll do me and be me just the way I am. And you over there, you do you and be you just the way you are. And all of that together is unity. It's a sense of belonging, and it will fuel your resilience. It will fuel your creative spark. It will fuel everything, every positive emotion and vibration that you want to realize, every desire, it fuels it all. That alignment, that unity, and the collective effort of that. I mean, it boggles the mind, because it is so massively expansive and creative. It is God, is what it is. It is God, and whatever, or it is nature. If you don't believe in God or something bigger than you, certainly nature is bigger than you. Yes? Well, nature has its own unification. its own unity. It knows each thing knows its place. It's us who muck that up, and our soul on a spiritual level, we know our own unique state. And it's the ego, the self that at a lower vibration that gets in the way of that. So the 300,000 foot view is to say, get out of the way and let your higher self rule the day, because your higher self knows. It knows what unity is. It knows how to create it. It knows why to create it. Let it do its job. Let it do its job. So when you experience unity, what do you feel? You feel supported. You feel heard. You feel important, and in a way, not important like, oh, I matter more than others. No, I am important to the whole. That's the job. I am important to the whole. And everything we do through this unified field, everything we express, is to bring that to life, to bring the unity to life, to see it visually, smell it, taste it, experience it. It is your soul, it is yourself learning to know yourself better through all of this, all the senses, through the body, through your heart. Like it, your soul wants to see itself out there, experiencing and creating and connecting and creating beauty and love and joy. Does any part of that feel wrong? And again, I'm going to encourage you, if it does, because everything I am saying here is quite benign. If it feels off to you, then you are not in alignment with your true self at all. How can you nurture unity? What does it look like? It can look like lending a helping hand. There's been a lot of flooding, etc. In our part of the world. There's always something going on somewhere with nature right now, as it cleanses itself, as it is reborn into a whole higher level of being. And so there's always someone that needs help somewhere. Lend a helping hand, open the door for someone. Buy that person in front of you a coffee today. Pay for their gas at the gas tank. I know those are material things, right? But opening the doors and buying their gas or buying that cup of coffee might cost you $3 or $6. But it will return to you and give to them exponentially beyond that. It's a multiplying factor for sure when you give. Shared responsibilities. What does unity look like at home? I live by myself. I have fur babies, but I live by myself. And so for me, it looks like welcoming people into my home, feeding them, entertaining them. If someone who helps me make my home beautiful and keep it that way and sustain it. It looks like laughter and lending them a hand and saying, can I help you move that? What can we do back here with this garden? Creating together. If you have children in your home, if you have a partner in your home, it looks like shared responsibilities and sharing the tasks. It looks like having dinner together, putting the cell phones away, doing a game night, sharing chores. At work, what does it look like? Even if you weren't assigned to that project, offer your time, your talent to it. Certainly, if you're a part of a project and it's team-based, then unity looks like doing your part and applauding what others are doing, encouraging them, recognizing them, shining a light on them, saying, great job. You see how they're not, I mean, certainly big projects like a community coming together to build a community garden or sandbagging, stores, shops, and homes and things like that. Those are big, obvious things. Community could mean, let's get together as a community and do a neighborhood cleanup. Let's go, a group of us go and support Habitat for Humanity and helping build a house. Or I know in my old neighborhood of Turtle Shores, there's a small group that comes together that builds porches on the handicap accessibility porches on the fronts of homes. That, as people age into a situation where they need easier access to their home so that they can stay in their home longer, they'll come together and take a weekend and build a ramp to the home. That's unity. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It can also look like at work, if someone's out ill, do some of their tasks for them that day. Do one task for them that day, right? Send them an email and say, I'm thinking about you. I hope you feel better. I heard you're under the weather. I hope you feel better. I want you to know we're covering for you today. It's all good. You rest and get well. Each leaf on the tree, each step, each choice, each action, the words you choose. Do you choose kinder? Can you today choose kinder words, gentler words? Can you pour some patience on a situation that fosters togetherness? Can you celebrate collectively a win that your team has today? Or someone does a great job? Can you celebrate that? Can you send an all staff email that says, I just want to recognize what Sherry did today. Really helped me out, and I really could have used the help, and she showed up right on time. So grateful. Thank you. That's expressing unity. Do you see that? And then others see and experience and feel your example. And do you think Sherry is more likely to pay that forward and to share that with someone else? So the spark fuels the fire, and you are the spark. You can be the spark of unity today, whether it's at home, in your work, or for a stranger. And we've talked about this many times. The quantum impact, the ripple effect that your action here in an intention to create greater, deeper unity creates it across the whole. It does. Just trust me on that one, okay? So when you are present, you can create more unity. So for yourself today, just take 5 minutes, go through one of my meditations, pull up the Calm app, do a meditation, quiet your central nervous system, and breathe. You will already feel more unified when you do that. You'll feel greater unity within yourself when you do that. When you shed the distractions and have a conversation with your higher self. Go look in the mirror. Take 5 minutes, look in the mirror. Have a conversation with yourself in the mirror. You will feel more unity in your life. Immediately, more unity within yourself. And if you practice that each day, and if you extend a gentler word, kinder word, an act, a small act of kindness, each of those sparks and fuels the fire of unity. It's not something outside of you, my friends. It's not out there. It's not something a government fixes. It's not something a leader somewhere on a news channel or debate fixes. You fix you. Take responsibility. Take accountability for you and your own household. And as you do, the courage, the resilience, the fire that fuels within you when you feel that intentional purpose of unifying your life, unifying your words with your actions, with your beliefs, and shifting to a place of responsibility to do that for yourself, for your family, for your team, for your community. Man, it's the best feeling on earth when you feel that alignment. Gift that to yourself. Give that to yourself. No leader 1,000 miles away in some office with some title gives that to you. Since when? Wake up. Since when does someone else give that to you? You have to claim that and create that for yourself. And as you do, you show others how to do it for themselves. Certainly your children. They see those things. They see the small actions. They see the, you only have one item, go in front of me in the store line. They see that when you wait in the car and let a couple of cars pull in front of you rather than step on the gas and try to beat somebody else to the punch. They see all of that. They feel it. Even if they can't comprehend it yet consciously, they feel it subconsciously. They feel the softness of you when you do that. Okay, so as we wrap, what are we? We're 12:34. Yes, so we have to wrap. Unity doesn't just happen. Doesn't just happen. It's nurtured. It's putting into action new thoughts and new beliefs around the power of connection. And saying, how can I? Can you pause for a moment and say, in what way today could I demonstrate greater unity? And just by asking yourself the question, you're in greater unity. You're more unified yourself just by pausing and asking yourself that 300,000-foot question. In what way can I demonstrate greater unity today? Yeah. And what I promise you is that as you cultivate that kind of insight and ask that kind of question of yourself, and then show up to do the work, you will feel an expansiveness and a prosperity and an ease and an abundance within you, and you'll begin to see it around you to a degree you have never before. It is that warm blanket on a cold night next to a fire with the candle that is your favorite scent, or I don't know, if you smoke a cigar that you love the smell and taste of. Some people can't stand it. Other people love it. That's what makes you you. And that's okay, just the way you are, loving just what you love. So long as it doesn't hurt the collective, hurt anyone else, hurt another. You do you, you be you. But if doing you and being you means disconnecting and withdrawing and hunkering down and scowling and saying, this is mine and I don't want others involved and I want to do this on my own. If that's the story from old, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. And if you can't see enough evidence of that in the world before you right now, then there is, I don't know what to tell you, you know, but the old way doesn't work anymore. And it never really did work that well because it has come at such a heavy price. And what I'm here to tell you is the world we're moving into, the energy we are in and evolving through, living through right now, fascinating time to be here, is one of greater ease and connection and joy. But we have to do the work. It doesn't just happen, you know. It doesn't just happen. So with that, please, if any part of this resonated with you today, if you've gotten this far, I'm guessing some of it did, share it with someone who might benefit. Share it with someone who leads a team that could say, hey, we should use this. Let's adopt this word unity in our workplace. Let's show people, let's have our company show other companies what unity on a team really looks like. And let's make sure we express it to our vendors and our partners and the people who help us be us. It's a collective effort, not just the team inside the building, right? It's everybody working together to help you be you. So realize the you that you want to be. With that, think about your words, actions, and thoughts and how that helps shape the level of or lack thereof of unity in yourself, your home, your workplace, your community, and ultimately the world. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with me today. And this will be on replay, both on my website at angelamoonin.com and on YouTube. It plays live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on both my personal page and the Living Well Today page. I have a Living Well Today private group. If you'd like to join that, there's some content and some sharing on there from other members of the group that the public doesn't get to necessarily experience. It's just for us. So you can find that group through the Living Well Today page and request an invitation to join the group. Be happy to invite you in and happy to have you share your thoughts and part of your journey. And thank you for working toward unity and for living well today. Much love and blessings to you. And we'll see you next week.